Hi, this is Courtney, and this is another section from my book on, the book is called The Mud and the Lotus. It's available at Alia Press or Amazon.com and other retailers online. Here's a picture of the book, The Mud and the Lotus by Courtney Denise Butler. So, this is a few minutes of yoga training, and this is how to make money with yoga parties. And so, I wanted to give you some ideas of some things you could do to make extra money. When I had my studio, we did this, but you don't have to have a studio to do this. You could come up with a flyer or post it on social media. So, to host a yoga party, you want to figure out if you have, first of all, if you're doing it at a studio or your space. You want to come up with a per person charge and a minimum. So at the studio that I used to own, we did a 10-person minimum charge of $30 a piece. And what I did was I hired a teacher whom I paid $75. And then I would go out and I would buy a platter of food. We did a Greek appetizer platter. Then we would have some healthy cookies and some nuts and some hibiscus tea. We also had coffee, water, and various herbal teas at our studio. So I would go out, and that cost about, that would end up costing me about another $75. And then I would be the hostess at the event. So I never taught the event and hosted it. I would be the hostess. I would come, I would give them 3 hours, and that way they could all gather in. They could visit a little bit, maybe 30 minutes. Then they would have their yoga. And so then that would leave them about an hour, hour and a half to visit, chat, eat, open presents, whatever they were doing. So for $300, they got the use of my space. They had a hostess. I cleaned up after them. I took care of them. I made sure they had everything they needed. And they got a yoga class that was appropriate for their level by a really good teacher. And they had all their snacks. And all they had to do was just show up, and everything was ready and clean. So that's an easy thing to market. You can also market yourself as someone who comes to them, or maybe you rent space to do that. So you could be the teacher yourself and rent space. Recently, I had a group of ladies call me. They were in town. I live in a tourist town, and within about 50, 60 miles around me, there's beautiful mountains and hiking and canoeing. And so people will come and rent these cabins, and they wanted a yoga teacher to come and teach for them. Now, it's not the same as a yoga party, but for me these days, I'm not going to do something like that for less than $150 because it's going to take a bit of my time. But for a yoga party, what you could do is make up a flyer and say, I will come and I will teach, and we also bring these foods, or I will come teach at your baby shower for this amount. You might not want to handle food and stuff like that. So advertising yourself as a yoga teacher just for bridal showers, baby showers, that's a very, common thing. And then you could even say, if you wanted to cater a little bit within, you need to watch your health department laws, but you could also do that. I'll come to you, we bring hibiscus tea and fresh fruit and nuts or whatever. There are many ways to do it, but you want to make sure that when you're charging, you charge enough that you don't feel resentful for your time. And this is something that I teach regardless, whether it's a party, private lessons. You want to feel good and fair about what you're charging. So I hope that was helpful, and we'll talk a little bit more on some of the other issues with finance and hopefully make it a little easier for you yoga teachers out there. Thank you.